So my recent Subnautica video was a beginner's guide to automation with the new FCS mods. You can automate quite a few things with these mods, and I did a simple breakdown showing a practical example on how to do that. And apparently a lot of you like that, made it easy for you to follow. So I thought today I would do another, maybe practical, maybe not practical, depends on what you like, but we'll do another example today on how to automate the bioreactor. Now, if you have not watched the beginner automation guide video or even the overview video, you might want to check those out first because I will be skipping over stuff I covered in those so we can go ahead and get this rolling. But I'm here with the AlterraGen. This is the FCS version of the bioreactor. It functions a little differently, but the basic principle is the same. You put in a flora or fauna type sample and it converts it to energy by mulching the thing. So with this case, the normal bioreactor is limited by your inventory space. This is actually limited by number of items. So you can go with whatever size creature you want to use for this. It will not make a difference because you can actually use 9 of them as opposed to the original bioreactor, which is a set amount of inventory space. So for the first part of this, I'm using the hydroponic harvester with the gel sacks because gel sacks are pretty easy to produce outside anyway. They have other uses, so I just have them set here. It is producing, as you see, I have 4 out of 50. So all I'm going to do is, now that that's going, I'll go over here to the base configuration. I'm going to go to the AlterraGen. I am going to select from this big long list of items. You see just how many it has. It even pulls from the decorations mod that lets you produce some of those items. We're going to use the gel sack, so very simple, and I want to max it out. I want it to have 9, and as long as I have at least 4 items, that way if I need the gel sack for something else, I won't be out of them. Then I just hit enable and confirm, and that is, I have 4, so in a moment it will produce another one, and that should get pulled automatically over to the AlterraGen. And there we go. You see, green light on items. 1 of 9 shows the gel sack automatically went over, and that gel sack is going to be consumed and just generate power for the battery here. You see, you even do the little accordion thing right there. So with the original bioreactor, again, you are limited to a certain amount of space to put items. So if I was to use bulbo tree samples, I could only get 4 in there, and there's a problem with that, is that while it produces a decent amount of power on its own, when you only have 4, it's not producing as much as certain other items can because you could put more of them in the bioreactor at a time. But the AlterraGen is, again, not based on the inventory size, but on the number of items. So let's do this all from the start. You just got your hydroponic harvester, you got an AlterraGen came in. We're gonna go over here outside because you can place this outside, which means it frees up space inside. And we're gonna go back to my new hydroponic harvester and wait for another 3 minutes and 12 seconds because I forgot this was still analyzing the bulbo tree sample. So now I'm going to put the bulbo tree sample for this first one. I'm going to go ahead. Let's kick it all the way up. In fact, you know what? Let's do a second bulbo tree sample because we are going to make this produce massive amounts of product to become massive amounts of power. So back at the big terminal, the C48 terminal, you go to your globe, go to the settings, and the first one, that's the one I already configured, we're going to go to the new one because we're going to put it to bulbo tree sample. And you can, of course, search for whatever item it is you're needing so you don't have to go through the whole list. And you know what? I don't need these to be kept for anything, so I'm going to go full 9. If I didn't overclick, I'm going to take that out because I'm just going to let this be all for that, and I'm going to enable it, and bam. And you know what? We're going to change this one to bulbo tree sample, and same thing. So now both of these should be then piping in the bulbo tree samples as they come in. You see, I still have a bunch of gel sacks in there. I already produced enough power. I have produced 2 pairs of bobo tree samples from the hydroponic harvester that I put in. They've all come here to the AG004 AlterraGen because it was the first one I programmed to use the bobo tree. So basically its programmed thing is above the other one because I reprogrammed the other one. So if you want to balance them out, you're going to have to just give it time for one of them to fill up, and then it'll roll over to the next one. Or, you know, you could do them all with separate items. So you could do bubble trees in one and gel sacks in another one. Now, unfortunately, this is not an automation part for collecting fish. There's not a way to automatically produce fish from the alien containment and pump them into that. At least not right now. But if you go into the alien containment and collect a bunch of fish and then dump them in here by going right here and saying click, 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 and putting them all in, you can use the fish as well as bioreactor fuel using this method to always keep them topped off. So if you're somebody that likes using bioreactors just because you like the idea of mulching fish or produce to make power, or you just like the look of it, the functionality of it compared to some of the other power options, this is how you can just easily automate production of the items that go right into the AlterraGen for fuel, and you basically have endless power. As long as your base is consuming less power than you're producing, you'll keep producing more of the fuel item and more power. And of course, as long as you just keep adding more fuel production and AlterraGens, you just keep expanding your other production.